Right, this is the time you guys all been waiting for, and I've been waiting for, admittedly. But I'm here with His Majesty the Finest, the unit. In his den, we are about to assemble or start or attempt to assemble those two engines. We're making sort of almost two videos. So Eden, I'm filming him on the proper camera. So he's gonna do a proper video of thanking all the sponsors. We have the same sponsors with all the parts and running down what we're using. I will make a little short video, and obviously in the description you can go and watch his video. So here I'm just gonna sort of a quick rundown. So we have everything, and I mean everything that you can possibly put into those engines. Is that correct? Yeah, it's correct. Yeah, So we have Y-scope pistons, we have rods, we have camshafts, we have the bolts, all genuine Honda spares and repair bits. We have some big bling parts, we have balanced cranks with like special machine work done to them. Everything, the blocks are here, everything has been sort of cleaned and ultrasonically polished and honed and everything. And we have the CSS inserts by Spec J, and we have the heads that have been already assembled by Spec J himself. Yeah, it has the SuperTech valve train, so basically all the best bits and pieces. I can't remember all the specs from the top of my head, but I know exotic materials like Inconel are in there. And in essence, we have all the parts we need to literally throw them together. I don't want to say throw them together because we're not going to be just throwing them together. We're doing it sort of by the book because we want 600 plus,
yeah,
a little bit more on the button, depending what Haltech. Well, we know that Haltech will allow us, but depending on what competition we're running, we will be able to sort of adjust that. But the base spec, we are aiming for around 600 horsepower. Admittedly, this is not even sort of making them work very hard, because knowing what sort of nowadays K20, K24 engines can push out, 900, 1,000 horsepower is not something sort of crazy, people push them for far further. So we are gonna measure everything. We have the depth gauges and that liquid thing that you put on the thing. What is it called? You bought?
What, engine assembly lube? Plastic gauge.
Plastic gauge. So we are gonna measure everything, and everything should be within spec. And yeah, so let's get cracking. That's a good one. Can you see it?
Yeah. Because it's threaded, it's getting stuck on the thread.
It's not an oil channel. So we already done this on Eden's engine, and it all is within spec. I'm not going to give you the numbers because they are going to be totally relevant for you.
Yeah, it was just to start a debate up in the comments.
So they are within spec. We consulted three separate people, and they all confirmed, yes, you are good on his engine. Anyways, you're probably asking, what have you done? Plastic gauge. Plastic gauge is essentially a really easy way to check dimensions of clearance. They're basically those little long strips of plastic type material that gets squashed under clamping load, and depending on the width, you have a little gauge that measures the width. You measure the clamping force. So you apply little sausages like this, if you can see, on each one of the mains, and then you apply a little bit of lubrication onto your journals, just so it just so it doesn't stick to both surfaces. And then you place it over the whatever engine block you are assembling, and you torque it to spec. You torque it to spec with all the bolts that are available around, and then you undo it and you check. So we're gonna do that just now. Also, I think personally, I've came up with something absolutely ingenious just now. You know how you have to follow all the correct sequence of torquing to spec everything. Usually, how it happens, you torque one bolt, then you look where is my second number, then you count on the block, whatnot. So what I did, I think it's just genius. I put all the numbers onto the block. So now we don't need to look at the paper. We literally just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Basically, man's discovered what a pen uses for.
I know, right? Well, have you thought of that? No, you haven't. I watched you do yours, and you were like, you do one bolt, and then you like, I am smart.
I'm gonna draw a penis on this engine somewhere.
I would not be surprised if you did.
Nice big cock.
Quite important at this stage that every single bolt is torqued to spec. Purely because you know how much I love making tutorials and stuff. These bolts are 29 newtons plus 56 degrees. 56 degrees means you torque it to 29 degrees and then you use a special degree adapter torch wrench gauge thing, or you use this fancy torque wrench that actually does the degrees. And then all the outside ones, they are 22, right? Yeah. 22 newton meters, and there is no degree on those. So yeah, now you know. How helpful is my markings on the thing? Very, isn't it?
I mean, compared to the bit of paper that's behind us, you know.
Yeah, but you have to, with paper it's different. You have to get up, look at it, and then compare it to the block. Here, it's just all reference. You just go by the number. I think I'm just a genius. My mom is very proud of me.
Your mom must be very proud.
And now all the hard work needs to be done again, undoing everything.
6,
5, 4. So this is what you're basically left with. You're left with 5 blobs of plastic material, and you have this gauge reference thing, and you basically you put it on top, and it tells you what's what. So we're bigger than 5, so we're kind of.
That's fine because you want on the tighter side anyway. So
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah.
So
they are all really even. This one is smaller than the other one, but I think I am happy with that.
Yeah.
They are all consistent. There is nothing, because last thing you want to do is open this up and you see all 5 squished and one of them is a big blob, which meaning there was not enough clamping force, or vice versa. As long as they're all even, it's almost like the compression ratio in the engine. As long as they're all even, you should be good. But all checks out. Like I said, we checked with 3 different people and they all said this is the correct spec and we are identical. So take this all apart, clean it, obviously, take all of this off.
Yeah.
And then we can assemble all of this, right? Torque everything.
Well, we've only got enough perimeter bolts to do.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Editing magic.
Editing
the next
magic.
clip you'll see.
The next clip you will see. Now we're torquing it all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Plus.
So you missed the pun there. It should have been, now we're talking. You can have that joke for free.
Thank you. Spins lovely. Absolutely lovely. Nice resistance. Like a good bearing.
A week later.
So the bottom end is, well, it's not really the bottom end, but the crank is in. The next logical step, and what we know from looking at YouTube's piston rings, and yeah, let's drop everything. Piston rings gapping is the important bit. This is definitely not going to be a tutorial. I've never done this before. Eden never done this before, but we've seen plenty of videos, so trust us.
We're experts.
All these women are experts.
Yeah. In essence, it's very, very simple. You do a bunch of calculations, and here's the clip that I filmed of Eden doing. And you use one of those things to gap them. So we know all the information, and now it's just an execution. We need to take extra care not to take too much material off. So there will be a plenty of in and out, in and out, in and out, gap, gap, gap. That's it. Once it's done, then we can assemble, and then we can do the measurements for the bearings for the con rods. But let's not jump ahead, and let's do this vital step.
Press, drop mic, we're out.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All the rings are gapped. All the rings are on the pistons. We will clog them correctly as per instructions, how you're supposed to, right before the fitting. And currently what Eden is doing, he's putting the pins onto the con rods, and I'm gonna do exactly the same after he's done his. Very important to give it a quick rinse and wash and wipe, brake cleaner fluid and lint-free cloth usually, or air. Napkin?
More importantly, these are lint-free cloths.
Yeah, lint-free. Don't use your nana's panties.
So when it catches a burr or anything, it won't leave a residue behind, whereas like microfibers
Yeah.
and blue roll, it will leave like tiny fibres. So
Yeah.
these weren't expensive. It's a couple of quid off Amazon for a pack of 5.
Yeah, I use similar for my carbon work for chemical release agent and stuff like that. Makes hell of a difference. Anyways, let's put this together and then progress to the next stage of the build. So fully assembled con rod piston ring combo. There's 2 little rings securing the finger or whatever you call. What's the name of that shaft that you put on the inside?
Wrist pin?
Wrist pin, finger, shaft.
Pin, depending on where you've
Yeah.
gone.
Piston shaft. 2 rings, and apparently I didn't know this. There was supposed to be correct orientation for those because the bearings they have a little notch, and then there's little writing, all sorts. Somebody was a professional was basically guiding us how to put them together side by side. Anyways, and I think Eden slightly effed up.
I didn't
So
F
he-
up. I did one and I neglected to do the rest.
Well, you basically forgot to redo what you did before. Anyway, so he's redoing 2 of them. They are all split already, all numbered. Everything is marked. Everything is clean. It's washed. I'm even working in gloves. So as you can see, we are kind of doing it by the book. I mean, plenty of little books and whatnot. So the next step of the process is, as far as I know, we need to put them into our blocks. and then we check for the clearances of the bearings. Is that correct, boss?
Yes, so we need to basically plastic gauge the rods.
Plastic gauge the rods.
Yeah.
Even though it says do not use plastic gauge, well, it says we don't recommend. We don't have any other tools, and
No, I mean, a proper engine builder would use 4 micrometers and stuff, and for building one engine, it's just not really cost effective for us to use.
yeah, we
that
don't
sort
have a
of
bore
tool.
micrometer. So, but also all those parts are all brand new and stuff like that, so it shouldn't be really a problem. Anyways, we'll check. If everything is within spec, then we're good. If everything is really out of spec, then Houston, we have a problem.
Houston, we have a problem.
And we'll deal with it. Okay, I'm only filming this for transparency. If you see this, then I've decided to use it. If you don't see it, well, you don't see it. 10 steps forward and now 20 steps backwards. Why? Because boost line rods are beefy boys and they are touching on the block, so we need to notch the block. If you can see, we started assembling, and this is Eden's block. 2 of them already in. That's it. And you can see there's marks on either side. So we have to take everything apart. I mean, obviously don't have to take the rings of the pistons themselves, but all of this needs to be taken apart, all the bearings out, because yes, notching is very easy, but we cannot risk doing it on the block, and plus there's very little access. So everything has to be taken apart, and then everything has to be cleaned again, and then oiled again, and then we have to put everything back in the same order. Oh, what a nightmare! But now you know, guys. Top tip, I guess, before you do anything, if you're going for beefy rods, because obviously manufacturers, you can't even blame them. How would they know, really? Although you would expect them to know, maybe if it's going into this block, they would probably know that you need to notch it. Anyways, it would have been nice if they did advise, but yeah, my best advice is literally put your rod on whatever and test if it's actually touching the block. So let's do this now.
Hour later.
A few hours later, it's all complete. So Eden did all the cutting. I cleaned both blocks. They're ready. I already put the bearings and the crankshaft in mine. Eden done exactly the same. He's just finishing cleaning up the girdle. I've cleaned my girdle already. Already has all the oil. So the next step would be sealant yet again. Oh my god, I can actually see why a lot of people would really cut corners on those kind of builds. It's just everything just takes such a long time to just sort of, if you're meticulous with, like, for example, yes, we had to take this off a second time, but for example, if your engine is used and you're putting it together, some people may not put enough time into cleaning sort of the surfaces, and then, you know, it's not going to seal, and then your engine leaks and all those things. So to do it properly, how you think, okay, you're doing it once, you're doing a proper engine, so everything just takes such a long time. But we've kind of overcome this hurdle. Now you know, K24 boost line rods, you definitely need to notch the block. I don't know why, experience. It just didn't cross our mind to even sort of not check or even ask anyone beforehand whether, you know, because instructions, it just wasn't in instructions. Anyways, assemble this, that, and then we're back to step number 3, which we were 2 hours ago. Is it Apple?
This is the Apple angleometer.
Apple. It's a handy feature that comes with the new iPhone 14. Yeah.
Yeah, this is an iPhone 14 Pro.
Yeah.
If you would like to use this feature, you'll have to upgrade your iPhone.
All you need to upgrade is a bit of tape.
Yeah, so basically that should be fine. If it's not trying to take fucking pictures. Fuck. Oh, cancel. Oh, this is done. Go away. Okay, so we need 56 degrees.
Can you zero it?
No.
So now you have to remember from 65 to...
No. What you do, look. So rotate the block until you're at 56. And in theory, no, we're going the wrong way here. Other way. So go to 0 to 56 would be the way to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we rotate the engine block until we find magnetic north, which is that way. Oh, I'm on the wrong fucking study here. So when you to torque down your main caps, find magnetic north, and then try not to move the engine block as you rotate it. So that's 3. No, so there we are. So now we need to go to 50, is it 56? 56 degrees. Oh, I'm gonna call that a win. And then just to repeat this. I mean,
if it's not stupid, if it works,
well,
it's not
all
stupid.
we've got.
No, what we have and the better.
Oh, shut up.
Shut up!
Well, this is officially a third week of us battling with those Lego sets that we were kindly provided by race-winning brands. Today, the order of business is fairly simple. The whole bottom end, everything is done. We're happy how everything is. The next step for us is to put the heads onto the blocks, because without the heads we cannot do the chains and anything, because obviously you need to have the cams and everything to put the sprockets and whatnot. So my head is K24 head, basically what came with the engine, and Eden is going a little step further. He is using a K20 head because he had one and he believes it's a better anyway. So his is almost like a Frank. I personally don't believe there's going to be that much of a difference on a boosted application, unless you really want to sort of maximize the power, but we will see. Anyways, so he is currently pre-lubing, pre-assembling, pre-putting in the studs. Those are ARP 2000.
Yeah, they're not L19.
They are not L19. They are ARP 2000, because we're not going for crazy boost, and people just sort of said 2000s are
And to be fair,
absolutely
I
fine.
would definitely most certainly touch L19 with bare hands, because I'm just lazy with gloves.
See, he would. No. Anyways, so I need to do exactly the same on mine, basically just following his steps. Now we're torquing the head 3 equal measures to 80 foot-pounds. Lots of special ARP lubricant on all the surfaces and everything. Feels really unnatural. Eden says the reason why he's doing it is because he's just done his head and we don't want to change the hand. He already has the feel for it. Plus the man is strong. Once your head is torqued up, the next step, especially on the K20, K24 series, obviously all engines are different. Renault, for example, all this part was totally different. The top of the head was the one that actually held all of those things, and then you just drop in the cams and put the cover on it. There was no extra not moving, but clamping forces. On this one, you have this kind of, it's not really girdle, it's like an assembly of lifters and rollers and all that stuff. And they all have different pins on the inside, and it's a bit of a pain sometimes if one of them pops out and stuff, so you need to keep everything in line. And yeah, so once everything it has dowel pins, and this is what Eden is knocking in place at the moment, just so it sits nice and flat, because the next step is you put your lovely cams onto the inside. The big problem with this is that all the springs and everything are pushing against the cams. and whichever way you put them in, at a certain point the cam would have to have one pressed in, one pressed out. So we're gonna have to sort of battle with those a little bit, but it should not be a problem. I've done this before.
4 hours later.
Some people will be like, hey Rusky, you skipped quite a few steps, and to those people I will say, this is not a tutorial. Please do not use this guide to build your engine, because I have no idea what I'm doing. Neither does
Professional idiots.
exactly professional idiots. So this is purely how we're doing it, by the book and information we can gather. Anyways, 50-degree cam gear on, this gear on. This is a fixed one. New chains, new guides, new tensioners, new everything is on it. Haven't torqued all the bolts just yet. Everything is quite loose. Next step would be put the oil pump, which has been already ported and modified, because you need to cut a little notch. Eden already assembled his and hers. So if I said his, so makes my engine hers. His and hers. Ah, who cares?
So what you're saying is you're the bitch.
Oh yeah, always. Anyways, look at this bling bling. This is a, well, kind of a next step after my pump goes on. So yeah, we're getting very close very close to taking some YouTube thumbnail pictures.
There we go. There we have it. 2 built K24s by 2 complete idiots. And unfortunately for us, we're not really going to see if our hard work and the time that we put into assembling these engines has been done properly, because mine definitely ain't going to run this side of Christmas, and yours, I'm not quite sure.
I'm hoping mine will run this side of Christmas, because I want to start testing. So in essence, your car is not even half built. Mine essentially just waiting for the engine. New suspension maybe, yeah, a bunch of things here and there, but in essence mine is almost complete. It was waiting for the engine. Personally, I'm very happy how it went. Took us literally 3 days, over 3 weeks, 3 days to assemble them from scratch, in essence. I mean, obviously all the machine work has been done, and J-Spec is the MR2 breakers. Spec J for doing all the machine work on the block, honing and doing all that stuff for the pistons and the rings and stuff, and obviously the head, fully assembling it, because that made our job so much easier. Literally just, I mean, you've seen it on the video. And then, I mean, we probably sound like the broken record, but cannot thank our sponsors, partners enough for providing us with all the parts that went inside. Race winning brands, Matt at Torque GT, Spec J. Who else helped us with things? Everyone, all of you guys.
Really,
If we forgot to mention you, sorry. Just too many good people who are willing to help us. One thing to know: this is just temporary, because I have something quite special going on, and I'll show you now. Yours is pretty much complete, just all shiny.
I just think, should we film this separate? You do a bit for yours, I do a bit for mine. Doesn't make sense to me being in.
Yeah.
Why
Why not? We're doing it together, so we can just use both. Just finish your bit. I'll use this bit while I'm talking, and then we'll just take the bits from each. Unless you don't want me to be in this completely.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think. I think you should film yours separately, so you got a bit for yours. And like that, you can go see my perspective. Go to this channel. Or we both do the same thing. You don't talk, and then you do the same thing, and I don't talk. I don't know. I'm just trying to think. I'm just trying in my head, trying to think how the video should end.
Well, I think literally we can use the same ending on both videos. What difference does it make? Same engines, we'll build them together. You said things, I said things. Or just include that, and they'll enjoy.
Yeah,
this.
a bit
So,
of waffling.
thank you. Bye. Tell your nan.
So
You're not happy. You want to say something else?
Hmm?
Well, say it. Just say it to
I'm
them.
sorry, I'm
just
sorry.
tell them how you think. How your size operation went.
So there we go, 2 fully built K24s, but
Professional.